Okay, I'm working on my GE front load washing machine, and this machine's about 11 years old, and I've replaced a lot of various parts on this over the years, and one part in particular I've replaced a few times is this water valve that controls the water coming into your machine and into here to rinse this out. And I've had it where, so if you have a situation where you don't have hot or you don't have cold, one or the other, and you may have some leaking going on with it, then that's going to be your culprit. So the first thing that you want to do is find out what your model number is. You look in here if it's not worn completely off, and you'll find out your model number, and you go online, do a Google search, and find all the parts for this machine, because you want to make sure to get the correct part. Now here is the part number for this valve. I'll show you what this looks like here. And you have to get the correct part, because it will not hook up to your machine if and it won't operate properly. So you have to make sure to get the correct part and make sure that it matches what your existing valve. So you can see this has 3 of these solenoids on here that control the various the water coming in and out of the machine. And then we got 2 inlets here for our hot and cold water. So that's the first thing. Make sure you get your part number, get the correct part. Now the other thing we're going to do to start with, we're going to unplug this and get our water shut off. So come to the back of your machine, find your plug-in, go ahead and get that unplugged, and then go ahead and wherever your water is, shut both of those valves completely off, your hot and your cold. So there we go. It just keeps on turning. So I'm going to shut this other one off here too. Okay, so we got those shut off. Now mine's in the garage, I'm not that worried about it, but you want to get something to catch some of this water. Get you a bucket or something when you take these loose, and try to put the hoses into the bucket to catch some of the water so it's just not going everywhere. So we got it unplugged, we got the water shut off. We're going to go ahead and come back here. We're going to take these off. Okay, I got the one off there. You may need to use some pliers depending on how snug these are. I've just got it set down in a bucket, and I've said if you need to, you can see where it's marked cold and hot. Should have a mark on there, but you can mark them as well. So these are a little bit snug. It just took a little bit to get it broke loose. Now I want to show you, they do have replacement seals if your hoses are leaking in here, and it's not uncommon once you disturb. It's got a little rubber seal in there. Once you disturb that, it may start leaking, and you may not even be able to get it tightened back up enough to stop the leaking. So you can either get you a seal to put back in this, or you can simply get you another set of hoses and just go that route. So anyways, we're just going to go ahead and finish taking these here loose and stick them in this bucket here. Okay, there you can see we got both of those off. Now we got a couple of screws here, but we're not going to mess with that just yet. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to come back behind this panel here. We've got 3 Phillips screws. Let's get you a Phillips screwdriver. Come in here, and you're going to take each one of these here out and just put them somewhere where you don't lose them. Okay, and with those screws out, you can usually just pull on this or get a little putty knife or something, and you'll just go ahead and pull this piece. It should pop out of there, something like that. And we'll just set that piece aside. Okay, now when you come back here, you're going to have like 3 screws, and I've already taken these out, and I don't even know where I put them, but because I've had this apart several times. If you're going to have 3 of these screws in the back, like one here, here, and here, go ahead and take those 3 screws out, and then once you have those out, go ahead and slide this panel back. Just give it a push back. Once you get it to about there, you should be able to just lift it up and off of here. Start. And it appears to be stuck, but it should be coming loose. Okay, and it did come up there. It was just a little bit stuck. So we're going to go ahead and take this top piece and we're just going to set it down here somewhere safely. Okay, here's a look at this. You can see that it's got 3 hoses running into this box here to get the water into the machine. You can see where they got the 3 solenoids here. Now, one thing you don't want to do unless you're going to label everything is just go to pulling wires and stuff off. You don't want to do that because you're going to get stuff mixed up and confused. So that's a look at that, and all we're going to be doing is disconnecting it here, but we're not going to do that just quite yet. At this point, what we want to do is go ahead and come back here. We're going to remove these 2 Phillips, and I think you can use an 8mm as well, but we're going to go ahead and take these 2 out, and they just screw right into that right there. And then we got, make sure to get them both broken loose. This one's pretty tight here. Okay, this one here is actually a 7mm, these little bolts, and this one was so tight I couldn't get it with the Phillips, so I had to get my little ratchet with the 7mm on it. So we'll go ahead and completely remove these. It's going to take it out of that bracket there, and then this will be loose. Now we can go ahead and we should be able to work that out of there. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and get, before I go to disconnecting this, I'm going to go ahead and get my new part, and we're going to go ahead and get it into place here and get the screws in. And then what we'll do, so we don't have any confusion, we'll start taking these hoses and wires one at a time, and we'll just transfer them over so we know that we're getting them into the right place here without any confusion. Okay, now these have a couple of little clips right here, here and here. You can just squeeze them with your fingernail and push those through just to give yourself a little more slack. And we'll just make sure to put those back. We can actually, with that, we can pull this plumb up here out of the way while we're getting this one into place. Okay, and here's our new one. We're just gonna go right back into here, and we're gonna go ahead and get those 2 screws started, get those lined up and get those started right back into there. Okay, now we're just going ahead and fastening these down. I'm going to get the one over here. And it's pretty solid once you get these here tight. Okay, so we've got it secured, you can see. Okay, and with this setting side by side, we can very easily see how these go, and we just need to get our little clips off of here. We're just going to pull each one of these off and just transfer it over to the proper place that it goes there. We'll just set it side by side, like I said, so we don't get nothing mixed up. And we'll also start with our wires here. Okay, so you can see where we got them here, and like I said, we just did them one at a time, so there was no mix-up. We got our blue, yellow, or double blue, and then our orange. And then over here we got the two blues and the orange. So should look something like that right there. So now we're going to do the same thing, just with our inlet hoses here. We're going to take a pair of pliers and just transfer these over one at a time to where they go. So we know this one goes over here on this side. Let's do these one at a time so they don't get mixed up. Okay, and there's our first one off. You will need to use like a flat screwdriver. These stick on there a little bit, something to help you push it off of there. And I was using a pair of spreader pliers to I just got back in behind it and just kind of used that to push it off. But we got the first one and just getting ready to transfer it down here into place and just give it a good push right on there. And just take our needle nose here and just get this right back up into. And these clips are really tight, which is good. So you just have to kind of work it back up into place there. Okay, and there's that next one into place. It actually just twisted off there a lot easier than that one there. Okay, there's all of our wires and our hoses into place. And now we're going to go ahead and get the lid back on here. You don't have to get all your screws and stuff in there. Just for safety, go ahead and get your lid. Actually, you could go ahead if you want and hook your water up and make sure that you don't have any leaks here. But don't put your hands in here. You got electrical wires and stuff. So we may just do that. We may go ahead and just get these hoses reconnected. So we got our hot. And so if I have any trouble, I will take and get some new seals. I'm just going to put these on one at a time and snug it down. I'll check and see if it's got any leakage. Okay, I found one of the seals talking about that go in these. So you can get these by the package. They're real cheap. I'm just going to dig this out with a little screwdriver, and then we're just going to pop this new one in here. So there's that nice new seal. You can see, once these things have been used, they get compressed, and sometimes they don't want to work too good. So now we know we got that took care of. So it's up to you, and you could do that or just get you some new hoses. They're not very expensive. Okay, so there's our first one on. We've got the water turned on, and we don't have any leaks. Just gave it a little snug with my pliers. Now we're going to go. Okay, so we got the water on. We don't have any leaks here, and I'm getting ready. I'm just going to go ahead and get the top back on, and we're going to go ahead and plug this thing back in over here. Okay, just start out slipping this thing on here. Keep your fingers out of the sides so you're not pinching them. And once you get up here to that point, it will just slide and push right back into place. And I'm going to go ahead and get it plugged in, and we're going to run it through some cycles here and see how it's going to work. Okay, you can hear the water running here, so we know that the cold's working and doing its job. So we'll put it over here on to some hot water and see what it does. Okay, and there I got my hot running, so I know that all that's working. Okay, so the only thing you're going to need to do is put your screws back in here. Said I'm not putting mine in. This thing will stay on here, and then get your piece of trim and get it back into place, and put your screws back into this, but it will snap on there even without the screws. Okay, and another thing I'll say, depending on which one of these valves wasn't working, you may be able to salvage one of these in case you have a problem in the future. These just will simply slip right off of here. So if you just had a cold water problem, you could use this one over here, or vice versa. So if you know which one wasn't working, you can just simply save the other one, and if you have a problem in the future, just use one of these. Now I will say that I haven't tried this brand here. Is an aftermarket, and I haven't tried it before, so we'll see how it's going to work. OEM is definitely the best to go with. It just seems to work better as far as threading and everything, but I'm going to try this and see how it does. It was $15 for the part. The OEM's a little bit more expensive, but you can also find them. I got this off of eBay. That's probably one of the cheaper places that I found these. Okay, so my main problem with my valves was kind of weird, but for some reason water was trickling out of this thing non-stop, and it appears that it has stopped doing that with the new valves on there. I mean, for instance, if you accidentally left the door just cracked a little bit like this, or left it open or whatever, you'd come out here and there'd be water just everywhere, just all over the garage. So it wasn't just leaking a lot, but it was just a steady leak, and over a period of time it was just running down through here and right out through this seal. So if you have a similar situation like that, you'd want to look at replacing this valve. And like I said, I've had where I've lost the hot water, where I've lost the cold water, and I've replaced this like twice, among a lot of other things on here. But anyways, I guess that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully somebody found it helpful. I'm usually doing automotive videos, but I just thought maybe this would be helpful for somebody, because I've replaced these a few times. So anyways, if you found it helpful, please give it a like, and as always, I invite you to subscribe, and thank you for watching.